Hello, my name is Elizabeth Foster and I am the founder of Connect to Coach. And in Connect to Coach, what we do is we connect expert, experienced coaches with clients. And today we are very happy because we've actually got one of our wonderful coaches. Her name is Mindy, and Mindy is she's an incredible coach in many, many ways. But I'm actually just going to talk to her so you can find out a little bit more about her. So welcome, Mindy.
Hi, Liz. It's great to be with you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for coming and joining us. So I'd love for you to kind of tell the listeners, what is your speciality in coaching? What do you actually do?
Oh, I help my clients transform their relationship with food from one that is essentially stuck in confusion and fear to one that becomes joyous, loving, and free. And in so doing, their relationship to life becomes joyous, loving, and free.
I like that, joyous, loving, and free. Because I think about food and I think about joyous, loving, and free, and they don't necessarily go hand in hand, but I can see that actually by working with you, that's definitely a possibility. So how did you become a coach? How did you get into this whole arena of health coaching? And I mean, I guess coaching, why coaching, and also, why health coaching? What's your story?
Well, I needed a coach myself, actually. Went through a series of life lessons and life experiences that brought me to a point where I knew that there was a better way to get support and to support others. So I stumbled upon the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and having always had a love for the science of nutrition, I enrolled. And it opened up an entirely new world for me. It taught me that I could embrace what food could do for me instead of fearing what it would do to me. In other words, put weight on me. And I'm hesitating using the expression make me fat, because fat is an essential nutrient. It's not a word that we should use to describe ourselves. But that was my thought process, and the thought process of many people that I'm blessed to work with. So I learned that good nutrition, good food was not going to do anything to me that was consequential. But what I needed to learn was I needed to learn how to connect to the wisdom of my body and get out of the thoughts that were in my head that were keeping me stuck. Then I found the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. And there I learned how to look at who I was as an eater. And so through my training and my extensive life experience, I came to this work rather late in life, Liz. I didn't enter into this until I was in my 50s. I was able to combine these trainings and my extensive life experience to create the Freedom Promise programs. And they are a series of strategies and tools that truly help my clients transform their relationship to themselves. And very often, food is just a symptom.
Mm. That makes total sense, because if I think about myself and my relationship with food, I think about times when I've kind of thought, oh, I need to lose a few pounds, and if I just kind of stop eating, then I'll lose a few pounds, and then I just end up, eating the bad food at the wrong time of night, and it just doesn't work. So I learned, a little later than probably I should have done, but I definitely learned that lesson as well. And I think it's interesting you talk about that relationship that people have with food, because I think about that. I think about, we'll look at something and we'll go, oh, that's bad for me, but actually it isn't necessarily bad for me. Tell me a little bit more about the relationship with food, because I'm curious about that.
Well, the relationship with food, just like the relationship with anything else in our lives starts with the relationship with ourselves. So when we develop an internal dialogue that is loving, that is honoring, and comes from a place of self-kindness versus self-indulgence, we quiet the noise and we can eliminate the clutter and the negativity of what is no longer working for us. And as I said, it's a transformational process. And I also like to approach it from a place of letting go of the need to change. Change is based on the past. Change is based on the thought that we need to do something, yet another thing to add to our to-do list in order to have a different result. When it's really about letting go of what isn't working for us anymore. And that is very freeing. But at the same time, many of us are afraid to let go of those behaviors because they serve a very useful purpose. So in my office, in a very safe, loving, empathetic, non-judgmental environment, I let my clients see that they can honor those behaviors for what they were, for where they brought them to, and then they can lovingly let them go.
I see where the power of really working with the beliefs with ourselves could actually have such a profound impact on, that it just starts that ripple effect of, and then it takes it from there. So I think that's very powerful. Mindy, would it be possible, obviously without naming names, but just to share a small example of the results of one of your clients?
Oh my, yes. I've been working with a wonderful woman now for about a year. As she was actually referred by her physician. She had some blood sugar issues, and she struggles with celiac, and she really needed to reboot and restructure her diet. So as we started to talk, she also expressed to me that she wanted to lose some weight. Issues had been plaguing her for most of her life. And she was very, very adamant about the fact that she didn't suffer from any sort of disordered eating behaviors. Great. Well, also in that first meeting, I learned that she had been struggling for a really long time with herniated disc issues, which were bringing her a lot of pain. So fast forward in the conversation, what came up was that she was so disconnected from her body for very, very valuable reasons, the pain she was in, that she was not only not feeling the pain, but she wasn't allowing herself to feel hunger. So she wasn't eating when she should. She wasn't eating on time, which was just making the blood sugar issues worse. So the anxiety that she was feeling was really a direct result of the blood sugar fluctuations that she was struggling with. Okay. She has since gone from a size 14 to a size 8. Her A1C went from an 8 to a 5.4. Her blood glucose is normal. And she is starting to feel joyous, loving, and free as she connects to the wisdom of her body. So you can see how the work I do is so multifaceted.
Yeah, very much so.
It's deal with the physical, and you never know what's going to unfold or unravel, but so much of our behavior with food particularly comes from those old messages and what we tell ourselves we need to do in order to feel better. I say, is it self-sabotage or self-soothing? very often the behaviors that we take on in an effort to self-soothe are really self-sabotaging and self-destructive.
Yeah, yeah. I can see, and what an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that, because I can see that the transition that she went through was incredibly transformational in probably obviously in the physical, but also in that emotional, and that connection between our mind and our body is so powerful. And some people don't really get the strength of it and the importance of it. But
I'm sorry. What I'm excited about to share, the best part of this whole story is that she lost this weight without dieting. It was just a question of listening to the wisdom of her body, including it in the conversation, understanding that hunger is not a badge of honor. It is a message that we need to take care of ourselves.
That's powerful. That's really powerful. Thank you. Thank you. So, I mean, obviously you're very passionate about what you do. And I know that you're very good at what you do as well. But what kind of gives you the greatest joy in coaching clients?
When I sense that the person sitting across the room from me is feeling lighter in their being, that they are letting go of the weight of the burdens that they're carrying, and they open themselves up to the possibility of transformation, that this time can be different, that they know that I hear them, I see them, I feel them. That's what keeps me going. And the more challenging the client, the better I like it.
I like that. So what would you say to somebody that was actually thinking of coming to work with you? How would you answer their questions?
Well, I would say if you are looking for a new approach to health, wellness, and weight management, if you want to engage in a different conversation, give me a call.
Yeah. And I like that idea of new approach as well, because I think, and I'm going to use the word diet because it's one that I'm more familiar as opposed to health management. Mm-hmm. But I think in that world of health management and diet and nutritional, people that are wanting to lose weight, which, I mean, most women, the majority of women, I would say, are unhappy with their body shape, weight, whatever. So they're looking for some kind of change. And I imagine they've tried quite a few things. And what I hear from you is that actually it really is a new approach, and it's a really holistic approach. And you really care about the person. It's not just, as I was saying before, it's not just about calorie counting. It's like, you've got to do this, this, and this. It's actually, it really works with their mind, it works with their body. And I imagine that when working in that holistic way, it benefits both.
Yes. In the coaching world, we say how we do one thing is how we do everything. Mm-hmm. So when we treat ourselves with loving kindness and we clear the clutter of negativity and we make room for the infinite possibilities that come with transformation, the extraordinary happens.
Yeah, I can see that. And making room. So we found out a little bit more about what you do, but I'd like to find a little bit more about you.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about what you do outside of your work. I mean, we know you're a coach, we know you're a great coach, but tell us who Mindy is as well. What's underneath?
Well, Mindy is a grandmother of 8.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, I have 2 daughters and 2 stepsons who are all fabulous adults, and each of them is married to equally fabulous people. And the grandchildren range in age from 11 to 2. Yeah, it's really been a wonderful, wonderful journey. And my husband and I love to travel. I love to cook. I love to participate in Pilates. It's my passion. And I love to write. I've got a book that was recently published called The Freedom Promise, 7 Steps to Stop Fearing What Food Will Do to You and Start Embracing What It Can Do for You. And it chronicles my own story back to myself, and it offers great tips and journaling, and hopefully it's very inspirational to all of my readers. And that's it in a nutshell. I spend every day working on who I can be rather than what I need to do. Keeps me grounded, keeps me present. And I try very hard to walk the talk. But I will admit it's not always easy. I don't want to come off as being this perfect example. It takes work to be here. And sometimes it takes work to be happy. And excuse me, if my coaching can give my clients a glimmer of that, then I'm a success.
I like that. I like that. So, who do you admire? Who do you look up to?
Who do I want to be when I grow up?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, well, I'd love to look like Jane Fonda.
Well, I think you're doing a pretty good job.
You know what? I admire anybody that can speak their truth without worrying about what others will think of her. That's who I admire. I admire someone who can move past the fear, because we all have fear. And that person for me can change on any given day. But I admire authenticity. I admire honesty. I admire people that can own their stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's definitely a whole journey in itself, isn't it?
Exactly, yes.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So, just wrapping it up, if there was one thing that you could really change in the world, what would that be?
How we treat ourselves. I would change whatever it is that causes people, my clients, to think and speak and believe negatively about themselves. I wish that everybody could go back to the innocence of childhood deep down inside and find that little boy or girl who is completely innocent, the blank page, and just truly feel worthy of all of life's blessings.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something to be said there, that's for sure. Mindy, thank you. Thank you for coming and joining us today. I've really enjoyed getting to know you a little more and hearing your incredible story of success. That really is something. I'd really recommend anybody thinking of working with somebody to improve their health to connect with you. Your book, it's called The Freedom Promise.
The Freedom Promise, 7 Steps to Stop Fearing What Food Will Do to You and Start Embracing What It Can Do for You. And just for our listeners to know, I have groups forming that use the book as a guide. 8 weeks, 7 steps to food freedom. And of course, they could follow the structure with me one-on-one in the office.
Wow, that's really cool. I like that. And I think having a support, having any kind of support in your life is incredibly powerful. And having a and having a coach to walk with you and support you through those challenges that we all have in one area in our life, is just, that's how successful people become even more successful. So, Mindy, thank you once again. I have really enjoyed our conversation, and I highly recommend anybody to get in touch with you.
Thanks, Liz. You have a wonderful day.
You too.
I loved being with you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.